Well, Donald Trump cleaning up on Super Tuesday. No surprise there. But Ted Cruz did take home 3 states and is leading what we've already called that Alaska. That was the 3rd one. And Marco Rubio taking home 1 state. So what was the biggest surprise of the night? Joining me now is our political panel, Ron Meyer, editor of Red Alert Politics and senior political reporter for LifeSet, Ashley Pratt. Thank you both for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we want to clarify once again, we did declare Alaska as a win. That happened in just the past, what I think, 30 minutes for Ted Cruz, so he now has 3 states. Ashley, I will start with you. The biggest surprise?
I think it was definitely Ted Cruz. It's not a surprise that Donald Trump did as well as he did. I think everyone expected that. But what no one really saw coming was, I think, Oklahoma nor Alaska. I mean, we have to remember here that Donald Trump had the endorsement of Sarah Palin, and clearly she's not really pulling her weight in the sense of she was not able to carry Alaska for him. So I think that was a big surprise. I think going into the next races, which are winner-take-all on March 15th, we really need to evaluate here who will be the one to really be the viable option to Donald Trump, which is what both Cruz and Rubio have been fighting for this entire time. Cruz can now say, I have 4 wins. He has Iowa, Oklahoma, he's got his home state of Texas and Alaska. Marco Rubio comes out with Minnesota. So both have momentum. Rubio is able to rack up some delegates, so he can make the argument that he can stay in the race. But both men now, I think, are really going to swing at the front runner harder than ever.
And March 15th, speaking of Rubio, we head to his home state of Florida, also Kasich's home state of Ohio. All the states, winner take all, in the next big thing to come, which is March 15, you mentioned. So your biggest surprise this evening?
Well, I actually, in large part, agree. But the thing is, the biggest surprise, actually, that no one did what they were supposed to do. So Ted Cruz was telling us 6 months ago, sending out these press releases, that the SEC primary was going to be, Super Tuesday was going to be his firewall, that he was going to win because it's all evangelical voters, it's all hardcore conservatives in the South. He only won a couple of those southern states, and he was supposed to really do well. Trump ate into his base. But here's the thing about Trump. Trump was supposed to get to 250 delegates last night, win 250 delegates. He's going to come short of that. And then Rubio, obviously, people are saying he had a disappointing night, and I think you'd have to agree with that. So the question is, where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? And I think Ashley made a good point. Conservatives and people who don't want Donald Trump have to figure out what we're going to do, because here's the thing. You need both Kasich to win in Ohio and Rubio to win in Florida to deprive Donald Trump of 50%. How is that going to work? How are we going to get to that in 2 weeks? That's the question.
The numbers that we had, we do have Donald up by over 250 delegates at this point. He has 285, Ted Cruz with 160, Rubio 87, and then Kasich and Carson.
And he started the night around 80, so he didn't win the 250 last night that he needed.
Oh, okay.
That's the thing.
That's what you mean.
Well, that's what he needed to stay on pace with getting a majority. So now he can be deprived of a majority if he loses a couple of these states on March 15th. There's really, I mean, you're talking about Ohio, Florida, Missouri, and Illinois. Those states resemble Virginia, where Rubio almost won, more than they do Texas. I'll put it that way. And those are the winner-take-all states. Those are the states that are going to decide this election and who the nominee is.
Ashley, what was your biggest disappointment, you think, of the night?
Overall, I mean, that's a good question, because I think, you know, honestly, the surprise there was Cruz. As Ron said, he was supposed to have this firewall going into the SEC primary, and he didn't. But I think the momentum really shifted when Donald Trump started actually winning states, which is what really surprised many in the GOP, and they started to panic. So I think that panic did play into, okay, in many of these states, voters were thinking, what is it that we're going to do to take down Trump if they were anti-Trump sentiments out there? And I think what we saw last night was a lot of states where Cruz was viable, where they came out and vote for him in droves. So I think what we ended up seeing were a couple of swing states there with Oklahoma and Alaska. But at the end of the day, too, I think the biggest disappointment was Rubio's campaign.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much, Ashley Pratt, joining us, and thank you very much, Ron Meyer, as well. And we'll see you back here for sure.
Thank you.